early the next morning. Can you hear the birds singing? Mornings at Green Gables are always so beautiful. The sun has just broken through the clouds, and we're back in Marilla's kitchen. Anne is finishing the dishes, while Marilla is standing by watching.
Well, you've washed those dishes right enough, I'll give you that.
Thank you. The world doesn't seem such a howling wilderness as it did last night. Glad it's not raining today. Easier to be cheerful and bear up under affliction on a sunshiny day. I do feel that I have a good deal to bear up under. Though I do like rainy mornings real well, too.
Hold your tongue. You talk entirely too much for a little girl. Suppose I can have the mare and the buggy this afternoon? I'm going to take Anne over to Mrs. Spencer's, and she'll probably make arrangements to send her back to Nova Scotia. What? There's nothing more aggravating than a man who won't talk back.
Well, I think he's lovely. He didn't mind how much I talked. I felt he was a kindred spirit as soon as I saw him.
Well, you're both odd enough, if that's what you mean. Now, just sit and wait here until Matthew comes back. Don't you have some piecework to do or mending? Ah, idle hands. Now, since you're obviously bent on talking, you might as well talk to some purpose. Tell me what you know about yourself.
What I imagine about myself?
No, I don't want any more of your imaginings. Just stick to plain, bald facts. Where are you from and how old are you?
Well, I was 12 in March. I was born in Bolingbroke, Nova Scotia. My parents were Walter and Bertha Shirley. Weren't Walter and Bertha lovely names?
I suppose it doesn't matter much what a person's name is as long as he behaves himself.
I don't know. I read in a book once that a rose by any other name would smell sweet, but... Well, when my mother married my father, she gave up teaching, of course. Mrs. Thomas, she cleaned for them sometimes. She said my parents were as poor as church mice, and I was the homeliest baby she ever saw. My mother thought I was perfectly beautiful. She died of fever when I was just 4 months old. I do wish she'd lived long enough for me to remember calling her mother. Father died 4 days afterwards from fever too, and that's when I first got to be an orphan, and nobody knew what to do with me. Well, finally, Mrs. Thomas said she'd take me, so I lived with her and her drunken husband for 8 years. As soon as I could walk, I helped look after the children. There were 4 of them younger than me. I can tell you, they took a lot of looking after. Well, then Mr. Thomas got killed falling under a train, so Mrs. Hammond from up the river came down and said she'd take me, seeing I got to be so handy with children. Now, I like babies, in moderation, but twins, 3 times in succession is too much, and I told Mrs. Hammond so firmly when the last pair came.
Thanks.
Well, I lived with Mrs. Hammond for over 4 years until Mr. Hammond died. Well, I had to go to the asylum, as nobody would take me. And I was there 4 months until Mrs. Spencer came.
These women, Mrs. Thomas and Mrs. Hammond, were they good to you?
I feel sure they meant to be good to me. Wasn't that wonderful?
What?
At an orange cherry tree, I saw a corner of her from my window. I named her the Snow Queen. She's radiantly lovely. She feels as if she really meant it.
Well, I'll be back in time to fix supper.
Little Jerry Butte from down the creek was over earlier. Told him I guess I'd hire him for the summer.
How far is it to Mrs. Spencer's place, please?
About 10 miles, I guess.
Good. I don't want to get there. Somehow it will seem like the end of everything.
She has such a large family, you know. Keeps losing all the girls that she hires to help her.